talk this morning about something.
Washington to talk about. Tonight we're going to let's take a look.
For those of you watching at home, I'm not nervous. It's just really hot in here. These people are wired. Now, we got out of the 1980s recession with tax cuts. Do you know that President Obama, in 6 weeks of his administration, has proposed more spending than from the founding of the country to his inauguration? Now, this is not prosperity. It is not going to engender prosperity. It's not going to create prosperity. And it is also not going to advance or promote freedom. It's going to be just the opposite. There are going to be more controls over what you can and can't do, how you can and can't do it, what you can and can't drive, what you can and can't say, where you can and can't say it. All of these things are coming down the pike because it's not about revenue generation to them, it's about control. They do believe that they have compassion. They do believe they care. But see, we never are allowed to look at the results of their plans. We are told we must only look at their good intentions, their big hearts. The fact that they have destroyed poor families by breaking up those families, by offering welfare checks to women to keep having babies, no more father needed, he's out doing something, the government's the father, destroy the family. We're not supposed to analyze that. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're supposed to talk about their good intentions. They destroy people's futures. Future is not big government, self-serving politicians, powerful bureaucrats. This has been tried, tested throughout history. The result has always been disaster. President Obama, your agenda is not new, it's not change, and it's not hope. Spending a nation into generational debt is not an act of compassion. All politicians, including President Obama, are temporary stewards of this nation. It is not their task to remake the founding of this country. It is not their task to tear it apart and rebuild it in their image. We have It is not their task, it is not their right to remake this nation to accommodate their psychology. I sometimes wonder if liberalism is not just a psychosis or a psychology, not an ideology. It's so much about feelings, and the predominant feeling liberalism is about is feeling good about themselves, and they do that by telling themselves they have all this compassion. You know how to really, if you really want to unhinge a liberal, it's hard to do because they're so unhinged now anyway, even after they, but all you have to do is say, you know what, the things you people do, the things you people believe in are cruel. That's the last way they look at themselves. They are the best people on earth. They're the good people. You tell them that their ideas and that their policies are cruel, and the eggs start scrambling and just... It's fun to do. I have learned how to tweak liberals everywhere. I do it instinctively now. Tweak them in the media, tweak them in the... There's no reason to be afraid of these people. But why in the world would you be afraid of the deranged? You know, there really is no reason to be afraid of them. And there's no reason to assume they're the minority, and there's no reason to let them set all the premises and the agendas to which we respond to. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but everybody asks me, and I'm sure it's been a focal point of your convention, well, what do we do as conservatives? What do we do? How do we overcome this? Well, the one thing, and there are many, but one thing that we can all do is stop assuming that the way to beat them is with better policy ideas right now. I don't want to name any names, it's not the point, but I talk to people about the Obama budget or the Obama porculus bill or the Obama whatever the hell next, TARP 2, whatever it's going to be. And they start talking to me in the terms of process and policy. You know, and I say, stop it. We're not, what do you mean? Who's setting the process? Who's setting the policy? They are. You want to tweak it? You want to, no, this is philosophy, folks. This guy, I forgot to, this guy in the focus group after Bobby Jindal said, oh, God, I didn't want to hear him talk. He says, Republicans and Democrats, Republicans and Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen of the United States of America, that's exactly what your future is about. Who wins, Republicans or Democrats, conservatives versus liberals? The notion of partisanship, false premise. Partisanship, let me define bipartisanship for you first. Bipartisanship is everybody seems to go orgasmic over the concept of bipartisanship. Don't worry, I checked with Fox. That word's okay. Remember, they covered the Lewinsky thing, so that's my opinion. Bipartisanship occurs only after one other result, and that is victory. In other words, let's say, as conservatives, liberals demand that we be bipartisan with them in Congress. What they mean is we check our core principles at the door, come in, let them run the show, and then agree with them. That's bipartisanship to them. To us, bipartisanship is them being forced to agree with us after we have politically cleaned their clocks and beaten them. And that has to be what we're focused on.